Some people don't talk much, not because they have nothing to say, but because their mind works differently. In loud rooms, they become quieter. In group conversations, they listen more than they speak. And over time, people start assuming things. They're shy. They're awkward. They don't care. But silence is not always emptiness. Sometimes it's observation. Sometimes it's protection. And sometimes it's exhaustion, because not every silent person is the same. Some people are quiet because their brain, naturally, processes deeply. Others become quiet because their nervous system learned to stay careful, and those are two very different psychologies. Let's start with the brain. There's a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. This area helps with thinking, analyzing, decision-making. People who are naturally reflective often rely heavily on this system. They don't react quickly. They process internally first, which means their thoughts become filtered before they speak. While some people think out loud, quiet people often think in silence. This is why they pause more, observe more, and sometimes miss the moment to speak entirely. Not because they are slow, but because their brain is processing deeper layers, social dynamics, tone, meaning, consequences. Now here's where psychology becomes interesting, because silence can also come from the nervous system, especially in people who grew up in emotionally unpredictable environments. If your environment taught you that speaking up could lead to conflict, criticism, rejection, or tension, your brain adapts. The amygdala, the brain's threat detector, starts associating expression with danger. So instead of expressing freely, you become cautious. You observe first. You analyze reactions before speaking. This creates a silent mind that is constantly active internally, and from the outside, people may think you are calm, but internally, your brain may be doing too much. This is why many quiet people become hyper-aware. They notice tone shifts, body language, energy changes, small emotional details, because their nervous system is scanning before participating. This is often connected to hypervigilance, the survival state, where your brain stays alert, trying to predict emotional outcomes, and over time, silence becomes safer than expression. Not because you don't want connection, but because your brain wants protection first. This creates something painful. People misunderstand you. Quiet people are often seen as distant, cold, or uninterested, when in reality, many of them feel deeply, sometimes too deeply, but they struggle to externalize it safely. And after years of this, many begin asking themselves, "What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be normal?" But silence is not a defect. It is often an adaptation or a processing style. Now let's talk about something important. Quiet people often become observers, because when you spend more time watching than speaking, you start noticing patterns, how people change around others, how emotions shift, how insecurity hides itself inside confidence, how people say things they don't actually mean. This creates deep social awareness, but there's also a cost. Constant observation can become exhausting because your brain rarely rests socially. Even during simple conversations, you may overanalyze. What should I say? Did that sound weird? Did I say too much? Did I say too little? While louder people move through conversations naturally, quiet mind softens, stay mentally active long after the interaction ends. Now here's something most people never realize. Silence can become identity. After years of being the quiet one, you stop experimenting socially. You stop expressing parts of yourself. because people already expect silence from you, and eventually, you become trapped inside a version of yourself that feels safe but incomplete. This is why many quiet people feel invisible, not because nobody sees them, but because they stopped showing themselves fully. Now let's separate healthy silence from protective silence. Healthy silence feels peaceful. You choose it. You enjoy it. You still feel safe. Expressing yourself when needed, protective. Silence feels tense. You want to speak, but something stops you. Fear, overthinking, self-monitoring. One comes from preference. The other comes from survival, and many people confuse the two. Now, here's the good news. The brain adapts, just like your nervous system. Learned caution. It can also learn safety. This doesn't mean becoming loud. It doesn't mean changing your personality. It means teaching your brain that expression does not always equal danger, that your thoughts deserve space too, and healing starts small. Small moments of speaking honestly, small moments of not over-editing yourself. Small moments of allowing people to misunderstand you without panicking. Because one of the hardest lessons for quiet people is this: you cannot control every reaction, and you don't need to reel. Connection does not come from perfect self-monitoring, it comes from authenticity, and slowly your nervous system learns that your voice is not dangerous, that expression is not weakness, and that silence does not have to be your hiding place anymore. Because the goal is not to become louder. The goal is to stop feeling unsafe for being seen. And maybe for the first time, you realize something important. You were never broken. Your mind was adapting, and now it's learning how to feel safe enough to exist fully. If this felt personal, comment Silent Mind. Subscribe for more psychology videos like this.